Hey everyone, what's going on? This is Max from Unsubscribed Healthcare, and I wanted to go over how to use an intake to create a new patient folder. So here on the directory, you're going to choose where you want your folder, what folder you want it saved to. So I've already made on the patients folder, PT 2022 and PT 2023. You can see I've already tested it out a couple of times, and there's a couple of people here. But what we'll do is we'll make a new one. So in order to do that, we go over to the data center. And what we're going to do is that we'll come over to intake. If we click on directory, it will bring us right back to the front. And then we can also click on intake here, and then it's going to bring us right back to the intake. So that way you don't have to worry about like scrolling left and right on all of these sheets at the bottom here. To do this, we can do a couple of things. We can come up here to the unsubscribe menu, go to patient intake, click on it that way, or a much easier way is just to click on this intake button right here. So I made it easy so that you can know exactly what form you're on. By having it here, if I click on that, now you can see it also runs and brings up the form on the side here. There's three things that we need. So if we wanted to make a new one, we need the first name and last name, and then we need the patient ID. On the intake form, you can't change anything on this because it's formatted to accept and format to the CMS 1500, but on the patient subjective, you can change anything that you want there. I use that for my consent to treat form as well. But yeah, so if we do JS and we put in the date 21/2022, this creates the patient ID that we use and will be used to recall all of the information here. So you can see now that the program is running, it populates all of his names there, and then we come here and you can see James Shippen is created, and then it also brings forward anything that I have in my PT templates folder. So you can see here back at the database, folder to copy to new patient folder. My PT templates has the SOAP note and also the PDF folder in it. And so that's the folder that gets copied to this new patient folder. So you're able to change it if you decide to make your own. If you want to change it at all, for whatever reason, you can change it to there. Same thing with updating your folders, that you can change it to a new year, or just if you didn't like how I formatted it or you want to organize it differently, you just change the name here, and that's where the new patient will be populated. So for example, you can see in PT 2022, we don't have anything. So if we go back to the data center, we can go to intake again, or just click up here. Pulls it forward, and we'll do James again. And we just need this. If you wanted it to fill in a CMS 1500 form or be able to bill easily using the billing sheets and stuff that I have, or the clearinghouse tab that I have, then you would definitely want to fill in the rest of the information so that it's brought forward, but otherwise it will... Yep. So I didn't change it on here. So you can see 2022, we'll change it to that. But the nice thing I also did is that I made it so that you don't run into the problem of multiple folders being created. So even after the patient creates a folder, there will only be one of his name. That's why if like you have multiple people with the same name, you'll definitely want to distinguish it with either having their first name and their middle initial and then their last name, or you can also change how the folder is created by having it be, patient's last name, first name, last name, and account, and being able to distinguish it that way. But if we now change it to first name and last name, and then we go back here and we just changed it to PT 2022, we'll do that real quick again. Unsub menu, intake, patient intake, and we'll do my name first. Click submit. All right, so you can see PT 2022, PT templates, and we're doing first name, last name. Now you can see that it did it this way instead of like in 2023, we have it as last name, comma, first name. All right, so that's how you make a new patient form. This also works for the subjective tab. So if you send a patient the subjective intake form, then when they fill it out, you'll also get that new folder created. So we just did Maxwell R Shippen, so we'll do Max Shippen. Again, for this one, if you don't want it to, or if you wanted to change anything, you can. You just have to leave the email. You have to leave the first name, middle name, initial, last name, and then patient ID. Anything else you can change. So like, as I was saying, I use this for my patient intake. So you can see, you can put in the patient date of birth, relative medical history. I've added way more than I actually use because I figure you guys can delete. It's easier to delete than it is to add. So all that's there for you. But if we just go through this quickly, none of that needs to be clicked, so we can just go through. This is the federal HIPAA Notice of Privacy and Practices. I made it so that if you wanted to fill in your name, you can. This is just a standard form that I got online. And then same thing with my informed consent. So then I just have clicking and typing your name. Then we can see HIPAA acknowledgement, and then also assignment of benefits for Medicare, cancellation policy, access and release of forms, and all that stuff. So click submit, right? You can see that's now submitted to the subjective. If you did want to bill and use the clearinghouse or anything else, you would need to add it to the patient intake. But you can see now we just did Max R Shippen, right? Max R Shippen. And now Max R Shippen. It also saves as a PDF their subjective consent to treat. So you're able to format this. It's just like Form Publisher. So I was able to figure out a way to make a PDF from all of their answers and stuff like that. So you can change it all around. I don't know why it changed this to date instead of signature. I'll have to look into that, but it's just simple coding from the form to PDF file. But yeah, so we go here, and now you can see the SOAP note has been brought forward, and it names it after the patient, and then you're good to go. You can start documenting this way. Well, I hope that was informative on all the ways that you can create a new patient folder. Let me know if you have any questions.